Jamie Alexander here with Gen Pop TV, and this is the best performing video of the month.
Ayo LAZ, this video got the most views in the last 30 days. Duran, the story of Ding Ding, with 57,000 views, 43,000.7 unique viewers, and it brought in 360 new subscribers. You heard? Gen Pop Gang in the building. Let's get it. Broadcasting live from New York City. It's the hottest channel on these YouTube streets. The best jail stories and hood stories are here. Make sure you subscribe today. LAZ. Hey yo, LAZ, man, shout out to bro Duran. You heard? Shout out the whole South Bronx, the whole Bronx in general. If you from the Bronx, leave a comment. Let me know what block, what Ave, what street, what projects you out there repping. You heard? Z-Man, Suicide Polo with the ski man running around the hood like He-Man at 3 a.m. with 3 swams looking for a dude that ran off with 3 grams. You already snow removal. Get at me if you need that promo. Send me an email at the genpopllc@gmail.com. Yerp.
My socks hanging in the shower area. You know, that night I put them in the shower area, put my socks up, and I know tomorrow morning I got me a brand new pair of clean socks. But what happened is when I got up in the morning and I went to go get my socks, they was gone. Some motherfucking crab took my socks that I just finished cleaning. I just finished scrubbing and cleaning them.
What you said, you got locked up in Yonkers?
Nah, I was in Mount Vernon.
Okay.
I didn't even know I was in Mount Vernon. You know, my man lived on Hill Avenue in the Bronx. That's like 241st, 242nd up there.
I used to live on 242nd. That shit is the borderline of Mount Vernon right there.
Right. And I think it's 5th Street, North Street, one of them shits. And so I just went out I called my OJ. The OJ was in the Bronx on Watson Avenue, Leland Avenue, close to Westchester. So I always I had a few cars there when I was 19. I was home from the Navy on leave. So I would lease out a few cars and let dudes, they would drive them around, you know, make their money. They just had to give me $100 a day. So I had this one dude who was my man on call. Anytime I need a ride, he got to drop whatever he do and come get me. So I did that. I called him and I wanted to get some weed. I had my girl in the crib and I wanted to get some weed, so I called him up. Bye. So his address, I never forget, was 411 Hill Avenue. Now that's real close to Mount Vernon. So when he came to pick me up, when the driver came to pick me up, it was my man. And he came and he had another dude sitting in the front. But, you know, back in the days, you know, that was kind of a regular, like dudes riding shotgun with a taxi cab or OJ, because dudes was getting robbed. So when he came with the brother was George. George was a very dark-skinned black brother. My man was Ricky, Afro. I call him Afro because he had a Michael Jackson afro, but he was Puerto Rican and light-skinned. So anyway, they came to pick me up, and about, 8 to 10 minutes later, we passed by these dudes, and right away we knew they was undercover police, undercover detectives. And because you know the way he looked at us, you know what I mean? It's like he said, "Oh boy, you know, anyway, so I made the mistake of turning around. I was in the back seat. Remember when I came to pick me up, Ricky was driving. George was in the driver's passenger seat. So I went to the back. And about 5 to 8 minutes later, we passed by these police on 5th Street or whatever in Mount Vernon. And they followed us. So they followed us for about 2 minutes, and they put on the sirens, bleep, bleep, and pulled us over. So anyway, they got us all out the car, blah, blah, blah. Detective James A. Garcia, I think otherwise known as Batman in Mount Vernon, crooked cop. He claimed that he found a gun in the pouch of the seat, of the passenger seat. Anyway, you already know I gotta go to Valhalla because I'm in Mount Vernon. And I'm a Bronx boy. In the Navy, home on leave. So anyway, I goes to Valhalla, and they separate us. Because the dude, Ricky was, I think, 25, and George was like 29, and I was 19, so they put me in the adolescence. So, I think it was the first night that I was there. You know, of course, I went to sleep. I falls asleep. I'm in my cell. I hung up my sweater on the hooks. So when I wakes up, I look for I notice my sweater is gone. It's just gone. It's no longer on the hook. It was a real nice, back then, I'm trying to remember the name of the sweaters we used to wear, Theodore's, or whatever the hell it was. It was nice below, one of them nice sweaters. So I just start going off. Cause I'm 19, I'm crazy. I used to call myself Tito Bond, because back then Nicky Barnes was not known as a snitch then. Nicky Barnes was the biggest thing in Harlem. So I was literally calling myself Tito Bond. Well, so what happened is, when I noticed that my sweater was missing, I just got on the gate and just started going off. Asking motherfuckers, where's my sweater at? I'm just tight. I don't know how the hell does somebody have the balls to take my sweater? So I'm going in. Motherfuckers, you don't know who I am. I'm motherfucking Tito Bond. So one dude finally got on the gate and started talking about he was such and such, and he was king of the nation. And he gonna do all kinds of so when he said he was such and such and he was king of the nation, I just went off. I just told him, motherfucker, you king of my dick. And when I come out of here, I want my motherfucking sweater. So anyway, you already know. The next day, I put down for rec, which of course, they was all expecting me not to put down for rec. Remember, this is Valhalla. This is all black. I'm Puerto Rican. You already know. Against all odds. Back then, I was a knockout artist for real in the streets. You understand me? Like, Felipe was my first crime beat. He was Haitian. He was a little guy. So he always used to start trouble knowing that I'm going to back his ass up and I'm going to knock the dude out. So I was used to it. Plus, remember, I was already boxing. I was boxing since I was 15. So I was very confident in my fighting skills. I never thought about knives or anything like that. be honest with you, when I was in Valhalla. So the next day they took the yard, the rec list. My dudes were screaming at me like, yo, I bet you won't put down for rec. You talking all that shit, because I was already telling dudes what I was getting ready to do. So when the rec dude came by, I put down for rec. Dudes got real quiet. So when the rec came, you know, the gates, of course, they opened up one by one. So when my gate cracked out, I put my gloves on. I didn't have no gloves. I wrapped around, I had cut the sheet up and made hand wraps for my hands. So I went immediately to the king of the nation, the cell, where he was waiting for me. And as soon as I got up in there, he threw a 1-2 at me. I blocked it. I hit him with my own 1-2. Bang, he blocked it. I went with the left hook, right hand. Ba-boom. Caught him. He went down. He got up. I hit him with another 1-2. Boom. He went down. Got up, tried to grab me. I start hitting him to the body. He crumbled down. He ended up rolling around and he got back up again. This time, I hit him with a 5-punch combination. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that was all it took. It was over. I left him in the cell sleeping. So I went to the day room. I wrapped my hands back up again. I went to the day room. There was about 6 dudes in there that I knew was down with them. So I went into the day room and I just played the wall, but I had my hands wrapped and I looked crazy. Well, I don't know who was lucky, but nobody made a move on me. And of course, I didn't jump around chasing dudes either. You know, it's clear I got my wraps on. I'm ready for all them threats y'all was throwing at me. So anyway, moving on. I end up getting out after 30 days. I plead guilty, and part of it, to be straight with you, part of it was a lot of that pressure that was going on in Valhalla. You know, that shit makes you cop out when you got all kinds of beef in the prison.
Like, I just gotta get
I'm not, you know, I'm dead serious.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get the fuck out of here. I don't want to be fighting every day, shit. So, but anyway, I think we was going on. What was we going to next after that Valhalla thing?
You was saying that the first time you came
on
through, you said the first time you came through C-74, dudes try to rob you for your socks.
Oh yeah. All right. So what happened is, and this was before I caught my bid in '87. This was like in '86 when I used to come in for like a month, you know, until I get bailed out or until they drop the case. So what happened is, you know, of course, I always been clean. So, you know, you clean your underwears and you clean your socks because that's all you got. You got to wear them the next day, right? You don't got 5 sets of socks, 5 sets of underwears. You going in from the bullpen, you got them same clothes on. So I used to wash my socks and my underwears and let them hang and dry. So I had my socks hanging in the shower area. You know, that night I put them in the shower area, put my socks up, and I know tomorrow morning I got me a brand new pair of clean socks. But what happened is when I got up in the morning, and I went to go get my socks. They was gone. Some motherfucking crab took my socks that I just finished cleaning. I just finished scrubbing and cleaning them. So I'm looking around, checking everybody, because, you know, no matter what, even though I was young and I was new to the system, I was always a boxer. See, a boxer, he got this certain attitude about him. You know, when you're a boxer and you want to be world champ, you got to call yourself the baddest motherfucker on the planet. You understand me? And that shit stays in your heart. So when he took my socks, I took it personal. And I went around looking at everybody's socks, you know, and didn't see my socks. So I just laid down, relaxed, and about 6 hours later, the courts came back. You know, the courts, they go out early in the morning, like 5 o'clock in the morning. And they come back like whatever, 3, 4, 8 o'clock at night. So I would think it was about 8 o'clock at night when the courts came back. Sure enough, you know, I was waiting. And when I was watching, I'm watching who's coming in from court, like who's the type of dude that might be able to do. That's the funny thing though about prison. If you try to judge a dude by how he looks, man, you're gonna be the fool. You're gonna be a fool. So I learned quick just to look for my socks. Don't care about how they look, because you can't tell when a dude is grimy until he do some grimy shit. So when the courts came back, I'm watching everybody, looking at them, and I seen this one dude came in, and he had some shorts on, and he also had my socks on.
What kind of, you mean they wasn't just some regular white socks? They was like some socks you could notice?
Yeah, you know, remember back, I don't know if you remember back in the days, we had socks with stripes on. You know, they got colors. They got, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
3 black
socks.
stripes.
Yeah, the big tube socks.
Right. Exactly. So it was very identifiable. So this dude, plus I scrubbed them clean. Remember, they white. So I'm looking at it, and this motherfucker got my socks on. I couldn't believe this little Spanish motherfucker got my socks on. I don't care. He was about 200 pounds, but he was short. So he was one of them brave motherfuckers, you know, just take his shit. I don't know what happened, man, but as soon as I seen my socks, it was like a trigger, man, because remember what I told you what happened to me in Valhalla. I was sleeping, and somebody stuck their arm in my cell and grabbed my sweater off the hook. So I got a personal beef with sneak thieving. So when this dude came in with my socks, I told him, I said, yo, what the fuck you doing with my socks on? I don't know what he said. I can't really, I'll tell you the truth, man. I can't remember. But I do remember this. Left hook right there. Yo, let me tell you something. I hit him so hard, he rolled from one end of the room to the other end, like about at least 20 feet. He rolled, and of course, while he was asleep, I took off my socks from him, got my shit back, and I'm gonna tell you something, bro. From that point on, I don't know what the fuck happened to this dude. He started calling me Hitler. Now, I don't know if you remember back in the days, they used to call the Puerto Ricans Hitler, Germans.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever heard of that, but they used to call us Germans.
They said that the origins of that is because all of the Puerto Rican gangs back in the days used to be wearing the motorcycle jackets with the swastikas and them German skulls and symbols on them.
Look at that. So that makes sense.
Yeah, that an old timer told me that. He said that's where it really comes from.
I never knew what it was for. I never understood it. But I do remember the Spanish dudes in my house calling me Hitler. And I remember they used to call them brothers, they used to call them Russians. So it was the Germans versus the Russians.
Who they used to call the Russians?
Yes, the brothers, man.
They used to call black people the Russians?
You know that?
Russians?
Man, yeah. Yes, sir.
I ain't know that.
Yeah, man, that's the crazy shit. The Spanish dudes were the Germans, and the brothers were the Russians. And that's my word. And you talk to anybody from the 80s, they gonna tell you that. So, what happened after that, I started hanging out with some dudes from the Supreme Team. I forgot his name. I remember at that time, Born from the Supreme Team was there. Green Eye Born. And there was quite a few popular dudes there at that time. That kid that I broke up at that time, I didn't break his jaw, but they definitely took him out of that house. I can't tell you if they took him to the hospital or nothing like that, but and the last thing I want to say is what I always try to, remind people. And there's two things I want to say, actually. This is real important. There's no man who can wear one mask to himself and another mask to the public without growing bewildered, growing confused as to which one of those masks are really true. And my favorite jewel that my parole officer gave me after I did 24 years, my Dominican parole officer hit me off with this jewel that kept me out of prison for the 9 years I've been home. No matter what you're going through out here, baby brothers, big brothers, older brothers, no matter what, no matter how terrible it might feel, no matter how terrible it might seem, no matter how impossible it seems, that you can do better. Always remember, your worst day out here is still better than your best day in prison.
Hey yo, make sure you check that new freestyle I did with the bro Life Through Galleries. It's on that St. Laz music channel. Make sure you subscribe to that channel. Check the link in the descriptions and the link in the comments to hear this freestyle. And if you a rapper out there, singer or beat maker out there and you want to collab with me, holla at me. I got those collabs and the promo at one great price. You can't beat it.